I'm going to begin by apologizing for the close proximity of the camera. Unfortunately, the laptop camera is very bad about picking up images on a TV screen or monitor because the backlighting. I attempted to adjust it as best I could, but unfortunately, this is the only way you're going to be able to see my visuals. Again, I apologize, and I'll continue from here. I'm just using the tools that are available to me. Okay. Good evening. My name is Brandon Jarnigan, and before I begin my presentation, I want to talk to you about a safety concern. I know it's shocking, but if you're in a crowd of 20 or more people in the United States, the likelihood is that at least one of those people has a concealed firearm on them. I know, it's shocking, but all I have to say is, so what? According to a report by Dr. John Law, 5.2% of the United States population had a concealed carry license in 2015. In fact, that number is most likely low because there are 4 states which do not require a license to lawfully concealed carry, one of which, Alaska, doesn't even issue licenses. I know what you're thinking. I've argued this point many times. The emotional response is always the same. It's gonna be like the Wild West! You don't want all those gunfights in the street. I mean, after all. But in reality, that just doesn't happen. In fact, according to the truth about gunfights in the Old West, gunfights were few and far between. Why do we believe that there are gunfights every day? Because we've seen it in movies. We know that movies are entirely accurate and never sensationalize situations to make a better story. Of course they do. They're trying to sell a product. And that's fine as long as we can logically discern between reality and myth. The reality is that while concealed carry permits have risen, violent crime rates have decreased. Between 2007 and 2014, murder rates have fallen from 5.6% to 4.2%. At the same time, concealed carry rates have risen 150%. You say they're unrelated. Okay, I could point to more specific data. According to GunFacts.info, Florida homicide railed from 36% above the national average, to 4% below the national average immediately after passing concealed carry. Texas saw a 50% faster decrease in murder rates than the national average after passing concealed carry, and a 93% decrease in forcible rape in the first year, and a 500% decrease in forcible rape in the second year, as well as a 250% faster decrease on assaults in the second year after passing concealed carry. In fact, all violent crime has decreased, while gun ownership and concealed carry licensing has skyrocketed. As you can see, violent crime rates go down, concealed carry continues to climb up. So now that I've convinced you that concealed carry is good, let me show you why. In the above video, 2 armed assailants enter an internet cafe intending to do something. We don't even know what they intended to do. All we know is that they were armed and they began rounding up individuals inside the cafe. And they all had their hands up and they just continued to round them up all together. And then we see an elderly gentleman in the back pull a lawfully concealed firearm and begin shooting at them. And they run, they scurry, they claw their way out of that situation as fast as they possibly can, leaving their bag, running to get out, scared for their lives. Now the question is why? Why would he be willing? Some say, well, it's not even worth its money. It's not worth their lives even. You're right. It's not. But we don't know what their intentions were. We don't know if they were intending just to rob the place or if they had intended to do harm to those who were there, or if they had intended to kill them. We don't know, and we didn't have to find out because of that one armed gentleman. Now you may say, you've won. There's some form of concealed carry in every state. We can even ignore the states that have such reductive, have such imposing restrictions that almost no one can get a concealed carry license. But instead, let's focus on reciprocity. While every state has its own restrictions for getting a driver's license, if you are a resident of that state and present your license in another state you are visiting, they will honor that driver's license. Not so with concealed carry. Instead, you have to refer to a reciprocity map. This shows which states accept your license when you're not a resident, but merely a visitor. It looks something like this. And you'll go in and you'll say, hey, in this case, I live in Pennsylvania, and all these states will accept my license. But if you'll notice something, of all the states that border Pennsylvania, only 2 accept Pennsylvania's concealed carry license. In fact, there are some states, like California and Illinois, which do not accept any concealed carry licenses from other states. This is ridiculous. So by crossing a state line, you go from being a lawfully responsible concealed carry owner to a felon. Congratulations. And you say, well, that doesn't happen. They'll just say, well, don't worry about it. But that's not the case, actually. Let me introduce you to Shanine Allen, a 27-year-old single mother of 2. In 2013, she had the audacity to travel from New Jersey to neighboring Pennsylvania. She had a handgun in her car. She was licensed to conceal in Pennsylvania. After being pulled over for an unsafe lane change, she tried to be responsible and informed the officer she had a concealed carry license and had a handgun in her vehicle. She was immediately arrested because New Jersey does not honor reciprocity from Pennsylvania. She spent 40 days in jail while waiting bail and was charged with a felony that held a 3-year mandatory prison sentence. Same prosecutor's office denied her the ability to take a sentencing plea to a first-time offender program to avoid jail time that allowed Ray Rice to take that program after viciously beating his wife on camera in an Atlantic City hotel the same year. Charges were eventually dropped after a major movement through the concealed carry community that caused public outcry, but it should have been unnecessary. They should have honored the license. Should she have been aware and left her weapon at home? Yes. Should states target citizens who are statistically 5.7 times less likely to engage in violent crimes and 13.5 times less likely to engage in nonviolent crime? Obviously not. Lawful concealed carry decreases violent crime rates. The reason is simple. Predators are afraid of armed victims. While I believe a state should have the right to make their own rules regarding concealed carry, they should honor licenses issued to residents from other states that are visiting their state. Denying reciprocity places an undue burden and penalty on good citizens. Thank you for your consideration.